practiced as the steady pressure he kept on the sword at his waist. His broad shoulders rolled, and with a casual turn of his head he scanned the area for enemies. Finding none, he resumed his journey, sandaled feet meeting the stones of the road in a measured advance. Just 1 mile to go. 1,000 easy paces to my meeting with the most powerful man in this region. Gaius Valerius Antithecus is waiting for my arrival, and it will not do to anger the councillor with a needless delay. The weeks since he'd left Petra-Athon gave Horatius ample time to think about this next phase of his life. The electee declared him fit for service, but he had not been called into the heart of the mountain like the other initiates to take his final vows. They did not have to tell him he'd failed. He knew it in his bones. The perfect warrior they were looking for was not inside him, nor was the centurion he had been. That man died a lifetime ago in another dry land, sickened by the actions required of Legio Ten Fretensis to subjugate Judea for all time. Horatius kept his eyes fixed before him on the road, focusing on the steady slap of his sandals against the stones. Out of habit, he walked down the middle, leaving space for his cohorts on either side. But there was no need to protect the man to his left with a shield, or to hold his long-discarded spear at the ready over its edge. He was simply Horatius now, a common man fit not for command, but for taking orders. The citizenship he'd earned twice over was gone, thrown away with the storied names he'd once used. His sword he could never leave behind. It was as much a part of him as the painful memories he had of using it. He carried no pack other than a simple pouch on his belt, wore no armor besides the cloak on his back. A bodyguard needed little else. Horatius he was, and Horatius he would die. With each step the voices of his dead murmured questions for which he had no answers. He would not sleep well tonight, even on the softest of beds or fortified with an ocean of wine. This hard, dry country was too similar to the one he'd abandoned with his name, and the past accepted no excuses from a man who could not leave it behind. When he reached his destination, the city's gates were alive with activity. Pompeii was a coastal retreat peopled with merchants and rich Roman families, surrounded by farms and vineyards. Its walls were equal part new and old, with construction sites scattered along the city's perimeter. As if to give reminder of why it needed repair, the ground shook for several heartbeats. Guards overseeing traffic at the city's gate clutched their spears as if they were talismans against evil spirits. The action sent both hands to his sword, and Horatius half drew it in response. He stayed his hand when he realized they were not looking at him, but at something beyond his back. Following their gaze, Horatius saw the moon rising over the flat-topped summit of Vesuvius. It was familiar, and the recognition stirring within him was not of snow-covered Petra-Athon, but of an older, more distant place. His dead roused from their slumber at the back of his mind, and he shook his head to cast them out. The motion caught the attention of a pair of men enjoying a meal on a flat stone near the gates, and Horatius returned his thoughts to why he'd been sent here in the first place. Though he was not a perfect match for the electee's goals, he could at least serve the greater good. They'd given him a name and a destination, as well as an order to make himself available for service in the councillor's house as soon as possible. Keeping his left hand on the sword, with the right he reached into his pouch and retrieved a palm-sized iron disc bearing the symbol of the Enomatia Apollonica. 2 fasces, staves of reeds bundled together and curved around the edges of the badge. On the side of each was an axe blade. "This will be all the introduction you need," the electee had told him, and Horatius raised the disc as he approached the men at the gate. The guards ignored the device, but one of the dining men nodded in recognition. Horatius directed his attention to them, relaxing his posture and releasing his grip on the sword. "I am Horatius. I bear a message for Gaius Valerius Antithecus from Petra-Athon." The 2 men stood, brushing away bits of food. The taller of the pair seemed more comfortable talking to strangers and addressed Horatius. "Well met, Horatius. I spoke to the councillor myself this morning, and he asked me to look for you on this road and take charge of your belongings. But you travel without attendants. Has there been some problem?"